Okay, so inside of vessels, I've got some interesting things. So if you go in through our assignments, and I like this practicing vessels because it points out so many of the essential things about drawing. So here we go. The first one is that terracotta vessel, and it looks like this. So let's mark its height first off. And let's mark some proportions. So as we go to the first circle, perhaps, and those certainly double. So I want to go lower because I feel like it absolutely doubles up, and then the top is a little bit longer. And now you can see the top, the perspective on the top is not as much as what I'm saying. So the perspective on the top is about like that. And then as we go lower, the perspective is going to grow a little bit. And then by the time we get here, the perspective is going to grow considerably more. And then for the last one, the perspective will grow again. Okay, so now if you look at this drawing, you see how this side is longer? Okay, so I'm going to fix that. And you see how this side is longer? So I'm going to fix that. Okay, now let's connect up the sides. Here's a problem. I'm going to bring it inward. And another ellipse, it looks like. Okay, so let me see. I think I'm done with the center. And now what I want to do is I want to start to put some planes on this. So for instance, I want to put a sagittal plane, which will be a midline. And actually, unfortunately, I would say that's going to go right there. And then that will be its coronal plane. And these mark transverse planes. Okay, so the lines that go back and that are invisible, let's lessen them. Doesn't mean we have to get rid of them, but let's practice to lessen them. And we can add some cross contour lines. Let's clean our drawing up kind of nicely. We can add some cross contour lines, and we can use the surface and the shading. So here, because the light is coming from over here, okay. And we'll clean out our light side. And we'll add the detail. Okay. And these are darkened. And I had this idea that it would be fun to go to some kind of wooden animals. Let's go to the bottom one first, the penguin, and we'll think of that as a structure. So if we have to draw this like little wooden penguin. now we've got a wing that starts here, but we want to know where is it in perspective on the other side, and we'll find that with the transverse plane. So that's where the wings start. And as the wings come downward, they form a line that would be very much like the sagittal line. And we're looking for the center of those, and up, and here is a little beak, and the little beak is going to be mounting on the surface going that way, so I use that line to be symmetrical around. That helps me get my beak in perspective. Just cleaning it up a little bit. And now the light in this thing is coming from this side. And so this plane right here will end up being where we're going to run into the core shadow. And let's do one more of those. So above that is this rabbit. And let's see if we can't draw that little guy. I think he's really cute. Okay, but let's draw him in this exact same mode, this kind of structural mode. And so we need a little body that goes in this direction. And here's his head. It's a cylinder that'll go in that direction. And I want to put a middle line, and I'm going to use that middle line as the sagittal plane. And in this instance, the middle line will go in that direction, right? Okay, the top is a little smaller. The bottom is a little bigger. So this is the back of that sagittal line. And his two legs are going to be sitting on the body here, almost like a little cylinder, right? So we could think of them as being like this little cylinder. And if I'm going to make that line, I'll make them symmetrical around. And the front of the feet would be like a little cube in perspective. Okay. The arms. Is this how rabbit arms go? This is how they go on this sculpture. Okay, the arms drop down almost like a little cube. Also, I want to make them like two cylinders. And then up into the head. And here's the head. And there is a little box mounted on this side of the head. I'm not going to put in the same angle of the ears because I don't have room. Okay, then we'll go back and tidy this up. And in the case of this drawing, it looks like the light is coming from this direction, and we can have some use for that. And there's the rabbit. Okay. And that'll handle vessels for today.